Out there today in the Sartorial kitchen, that's right, we're making our own butter from scratch and we're flavoring it with garlic, thyme, and orange honey. And we're using that to make a cheesy garlic pull-apart bread. Grilled ribeye with basted eggs, and last but not least, a grilled pound cake with marinated berries. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with me? The Sartorial kitchen, everybody. Today is all about flavored butters or compound butter. So to start, we're going to be making our own butter. And long are the days of churning butter by hand. We now have food processors to do the work for us. So basically, to get butter, heavy whipping cream, and just pour this right out. Pour out this whole container. Now to make it into butter, we're going to go past the whipped cream stage. So we've worked with this item before, and as you know, the longer you whip it, the thicker it gets. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on a low pulse. Alright, so I've got orange here. I'm rolling this out to release some of the juices. We'll be juicing the orange later, but for now, I want the zest. So I'm going to get out my little zester here. And you can smell the orange already just from rolling it out. So fragrant. I'm going to zest this whole orange. We're making an orange honey butter. It's going to be a sweetened butter that I'm using for a dessert that I'm making. Alright, that's pretty good. That's about a tablespoon. Make sure we get the back of this guy here. I'll set the orange aside for later. And I've also got some thyme here out of my garden. And with the thyme, I'm just going to run my fingers down the stem. We don't want the stem in our butter, we just want the thyme. Okay, and there is our thyme. And once this baby is finished whipping, we will be ready to assemble our butters. Alright. Guys, we have our butter. Now if you notice the liquid here, where the butter has started to separate, you can run it through a sieve to get rid of the liquid here. Just going to kind of drain that out. Alright, I'm going to divide this butter out so I can mix it evenly. Couple containers here. And we'll start with the savory butters first. First is going to be my garlic butter. I'll just have lots of flavor. So we're going to do teaspoon, and this is just my preserved garlic. And then I also want about a half teaspoon of just Italian seasoning, and then of course some salt and pepper, a teaspoon of salt, and about half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then we're going to come in with our fork, and we're just going to mash this up so it's all incorporated. Make sure you stir it good. Want all that good flavor in every bite. Alright, that's looking pretty good, I think. And for our next butter here, I've got my thyme. This is going to be a thyme butter. A nice little savory butter. It's great for steak, poultry. I like it on eggs. It's good on toast. A lot of savory kind of. And then again, half teaspoon of pepper and about a teaspoon of salt. Lots of good flavor. And you can always salt when you're mixing up the heavy cream to make the butter. And then again, we're just going to come in here, mash this up. If you find any stragglers of stem, go ahead and grab that. We don't want any stems in our butter. Alright, that looks pretty good. And then last is going to be our honey orange butter. Alright, so for this, I'm going to do about a tablespoon of honey. I want this to have lots, be nice and sweet. And then we're just going to plop in the orange zest. It's going to be nice and flavorful, and just come in here and just kind of mix that in as well. Get everything incorporated. Alright, now you can leave it in a container like this and you can kind of scoop it out, but we're going to be wrapping them up. Alright, time to wrap these babies up. Now the orange honey butter, I actually want that spreadable, so I'm going to leave that out, but these other two, I definitely want to wrap up, and I'm going to show you how we do that here. So just get your wrap out, and then we're going to take the butter here while it's still kind of soft, and we can work with it here. And just dump it out onto your wrap. And then you just use the wrap to kind of bring it together. I like to take my hands and just kind of press it down. And then I'm going to turn it over, press it the other way. And then it's almost like you're rolling a burrito. You just want to kind of get it into a log. And then you just kind of roll it up. And I like to twist the ends, so in case there's any liquid left, you don't worry about that making a mess in your fridge. And that is our garlic butter. And now for the thyme butter. Alright, there are two butters. I'm going to pop these in the fridge so they get nice and firm and we can cut nice medallions or wedges out of them. Welcome back, everybody. I'm just finishing prepping this Italian loaf here. I've cut it into nice little cross sections so you get that kind of diamond pattern. So we're doing a cheesy garlic bread loaf, so I wanted a nice fresh loaf of bread. We've got our garlic butter from earlier. I'm just getting ready to unmold this. And immediately you get that garlic. So good. I've seen this recipe a lot on social media and I've been dying to try it myself. It's so simple. It's just three ingredients: bread, garlic butter, and cheese. You don't even have to make your own garlic butter. You can buy garlic butter already made. But you know I'm extra, so I have to do my own. So I'm just going to we're going to cut into this. I'm going to kind of break it up into little pieces here. And basically just come in here, fold this bread apart, and drop the garlic down in it. Garlic butter. the butter now for the cheese. I just got some shredded, it's a pizza blend, mozzarella, provolone, romano. I'm just going to gently sprinkle this right on top, probably about half this package. And the bread's already kind of pulled open a little bit because we were stuffing it with our cheese. So the cheese just kind of falls right in. Now some of it's going to sit on top, and that's fine. I have preheated my oven already to 400 degrees. This is going to cook for about 15 to 20 minutes, just until everything is nice and golden brown. So I will see you guys when we pull it out. Alright guys, let's check this out. Yum! Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous on top. You can smell that garlic. It is just so fragrant. This is great, like game day food. You're having a party. This feeds many. And you can just come up and help yourself. Just pull a nice little piece. So good, guys. I'm gonna go in for some more. And you get a little bit of the, you get the garlic for sure, but you get a little bit of that Italian seasoning, so it gives it just a little something else. I've used the dried Italian seasoning because it works better than a fresh preparation, I think, in the oven. You get the crunch of that bread, just nice and toasty. That luscious cheese, everything's better with cheese. So there you have it, garlic pull-apart bread. Easy peasy, 3 ingredients. So I'm going to clean this up and we will move on to our next dish. It is steak and eggs, so stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back onto our second dish. Now let's talk steak. I've got 2 beautiful ribeyes here from the butcher. I've always wanted to do a nice steak on this channel, but I could never think of the right preparation. And when I decided to do compound butter, I thought, oh, forget about it. One of my favorite things to do is to rest a steak with a nice pat of butter. It just makes it so moist and flavorful. I'm going to prep my steaks here real quick. Just salt and pepper, that's all I'm seasoning it with. Just to give it some good flavor. Our butter is going to do a lot of the flavoring for us, and I'm going to turn this over and pepper and salt the other side as well. I love a good ribeye, nice marbling. If you want like a bone in, that works good too. I don't care for T-bone as much, but ribeyes are perfect. And I've already got my grill pan going. I'm just going to just add a little oil here. It's going to help keep it from sticking, and it's going to help give it a nice sear. And then we just take these babies and throw them right on. They're going to get nice and crusty, but they're going to be soft and juicy on the inside. So good. Okay, I'm turning these babies to the side. I want to get some nice cross sections there, that classic grill mark. Now you're probably wondering, how do you know when steak is ready to flip? Well, if you take your tongs, just give it a little poke. The harder the meat feels, or the less you can dig your tongue into it, the more done it is. So you want it nice and soft. And it's usually ready to flip. You'll start to notice a nice crust around the side. You can always kind of pick up the steak a little bit. And that's how you know when it's ready to flip. And I think these babies are. So I'm going to go ahead and turn these over. Look at those beautiful grill marks, everybody. And this one too. And I'm just going to let it sear on the other side for a little bit. And we're going to move on to our eggs. I've got my pan going here. I have our thyme butter. I am not just using this butter for the steak. I am also using it for our eggs. So if you're ever making eggs, I'd like to use butter in the pan. The butter helps keep the eggs from sticking. Now I'm using a bit here because we're going to be basting these eggs. Now you're thinking basted eggs, what's that? We're going to find out quick. soon as that butter cooks down, I'm going to toss my eggs in, and we're going to make the magic happen. I just like to swirl this around, let all that butter make its way. And I usually keep my pan on a medium to low heat so the eggs can cook through without one side getting more done than the other, I should say. And I'll just crack it right on the side and plop it right into my pan. Alright, we're gonna turn these guys again, just so we get those nice cross sections. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat down. These are just about done. I want them nice and juicy, not too bloody, but nice and juicy and flavorful. And I just want them to get a really gorgeous crust. Now our eggs, let's move in on our eggs, shall we? That's the great thing about basted eggs. People hate flipping eggs because they always break the yolk. Well, we're going to take some of this thyme butter here that has been cooking down in my pan, and we're just going to take that and ladle it right over top. And as you see, as that butter hits the egg, it starts to cook that white. That white cooks through. So you don't have to flip your eggs to get the tops done. And the yolks will still be nice and runny. And you can see that beautiful thyme. I love thyme with eggs. I do baked eggs with thyme. Thyme is just a great herb. It's so versatile. You can do so many things with it. And I just kind of tilt my pan a little bit to get that butter. Lots of butter here. It's going to be really flavorful eggs, guys. Alright, I think our eggs are good. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off of that and set those aside, and we'll finish up our steak. Alright, our steaks look pretty good. I'm going to turn this baby off. Look at the gorgeous cross-sections on this steak. Yes. Now, one of my tricks to really flavorful steak is to take butter and kind of baste the steak. So I'm going to take some more of our butter, just a little sliver. I'm going to set it right on top of each steak. While it rests, it's good to let the steak rest because it seals those juices. So you're waiting anyways. Why not add a little flavor while you're at it? And then I just take a piece of foil here, and I'm just going to lightly cover the steak. And just for a couple minutes, that butter's going to melt all over the top, and it's just going to be nice and juicy and flavorful. Our eggs here are finished. I'm going to grab a plate, and we'll be ready to dig in. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, look at that, beautiful. I'm only going to take one for now. The other steak I'm going to save. I can do for breakfast another day, or pretty much any time of the day. So I'm just going to let that sit to the side. And then I'm going to grab my eggs here. Nice. Oh, so good. And if you want, you can toast up a nice little piece of bread with this. Also good. But I think I'm going to have it just as is. Get a look at this, guys. Isn't that beautiful? I'm just going to cut into the steak. Cut me a nice piece. And I like to cut into the yolks. Nothing like steak and eggs. I just like to take my steak here and run it into the yolk of that egg. And as you can see, it's nice and pink in the center, but not too bloody. If you like yours a little more rare, that's perfectly fine. You're going to do probably about a minute, minute and a half less in the skillet than what I did. And then I want to try just some of this egg with that gorgeous thyme butter. And what's great about doing it this way, you don't get all that crust on the top of the egg from frying it, flipping it. It's almost like butter poaching. And then the earthiness of that thyme just kind of creeps up on your palate. Oh my gosh, guys, so good. I'm going to go ahead and finish up here. And then we are going to move on to my dessert. It is a grilled pound cake with that orange butter that we made earlier. So stay tuned. Alright, welcome back everybody. We are on to our last dish, last but not least, and it is dessert. I've just finished cutting up a pound cake. Yes, this is store-bought, a little Edamons, perfectly fine for a quick little semi-homemade dessert. You want to make your own, that's perfectly fine. This is just a buttered pound cake loaf. I didn't want anything flavored because we're flavoring things ourselves. I've got more of, I've got our orange honey butter from earlier. And it is so fragrant, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just buttering both sides of this, almost like you would butter a grilled cheese. Bread for grilled cheese. And while that pan's nice and warm, I'm just going to plop that on. We're going to get both sides nice and toasty. And then we're going to top it with a few different kind of things. It's going to be decadent. Nobody's going to know that it was so easy to assemble. So I'm going to finish buttering up my cake here and get it on the grill pan. Now if you're just doing something quick for breakfast, you can take this butter, slather it right on, and just eat it as is. Perfectly good. But I want to get nice, I want some nice textures. I love desserts with textures. So I thought it would be fun to get out my grill pan. It's always fun with the grill pan. And just throw everything right on. I have one more piece here I'm going to try and make a little room for. Nice big thick wedges of this. And that's going to go right there on the side. Okay, awesome. That's going to cook for about a few minutes on each side. I've got this on a low heat. I don't want it to get too dark on me. And while those cook away, we're going to prep our berries. So I've got some blackberries here, some raspberries, some golden raspberries. You guessed it, out of my garden. Yes, yes, yes. And then I'm just going to cut into this orange. This is our orange from earlier that I was zesting for this butter. So I'm just going to pull this guy open, and we're just going to double fist it here. Now if you want, you can cook the berries down, but I'm just marinating them. They're post-season, so I don't want to cook them down too much. And I wanted like a really nice fresh element. That's about a couple tablespoons of juice. And to that, I'm also going to add about a tablespoon of sugar, just to give it a little sweetness, not too much. And then I'm just going to come in here and give that a little shake. Shake it up. Let all that incorporate. And what's going to happen is that juice, it's going to tenderize the berries and make them nice and kind of palatable. And we'll just spoon it right over top at the end. So I'm going to set those aside. And now it's time to flip our pound cake. Guys, look at those beautiful grill marks. Now you could do this in a skillet if you don't have a grill pan. You can just get like a frying pan or a skillet like you would French toast. I thought it would be fun though with the grill marks on it. Look at that. Nice and toasty, not too dark. Alright, now we'll let it cook on the other side a few minutes and we will be ready to dig in. Okay, these guys are done. I'm going to turn that off and I'm going to move it off the heat. But I am famished. I am going to go ahead and plate one of these babies. I think this one in the middle here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Grab a spoon here. We're going to spoon some of these berries right over top. And then I've also got some homemade whipped cream here. I'm just going to do a nice little canal of that. I think I'll go right here at the edge. And there you have it. Grilled pound cake with berries and whipped cream. Let's dig in. Now does this not look delicious or what? Oh, I'm going to dig right into this, absolutely. Boom. Bon appetit. Mmm. I don't know if you can hear it, but immediately you get the crunch of that pound cake. Just that little bit of char on the outside. You get the kind of fragrant floral quality of the orange. And then the berries, just a burst of freshness. So good. So guys, that was compound butter. I thank you again for joining me in the kitchen. As always, please like and subscribe. And until next time.